This evening you catch me walking on a lovely, cool, tranquil evening on Zakynthos with my trusty pal Hoppet the dog. And as I was walking along here, I was thinking, what could I share today that would make the most difference to people? And when I think back of my time, now I've had angina in the past. I fortunately haven't had any for about 3 years now. But I know how scary that can be, and I certainly know where it leads. And I've had to find natural methods to reduce my blood pressure naturally. And it made me think about the things that cause hypertension. Now there's two main things that cause it. The first one is work-related stress, and the other one is relationship-related stress. And these are the two biggest areas that consistently patients with heart attacks and strokes who would come into hospital when I was there, and I'd start asking them about how much stress have you had lately? Have you had more stress than normal? And the answer was always yes, and it was usually related to work or relationship stress. So let's talk about the two separately here. Let's talk about stress at work. How does it happen? Well, especially in this current economic climate, it means that we're all very vulnerable and people are under stress, and you don't know what stress from people's home situations that they're bringing into work. So if somebody's really stressed at home, they could come in, they could start taking things out on you, which is unfair, but that's the way it works. And it could be your boss, it could be your colleague, they come in, they could be cutting comments, it could be undermining you, could be being dismissive, openly abusive. And if it's your boss, or if it's a situation where you're in a position where you have to earn the money, so you don't deal with the situation, you sort of tolerate it, you see it as a necessary evil as part of your job. And fortunately the human body is pretty resilient, but this will spark a fight or flight. Fight or flight. Probably a bit like what's going on over here in these hills. Fight or flight. That's a local goat herder. So it's fight or flight for the goats. They'll probably flight to exactly where he wants them to go. But it causes stress. It causes you to go into your fight or flight, which will cause a surge of adrenaline, it will cause your blood pressure to rise. It will cause your digestion to shut down as the blood is diverted to your muscles and your brain. It will cause dips in mood because you'll be up and then you'll be really down. So it can cause sleeplessness, restlessness, digestive problems, all things like that. And we can take that on a one-off, but if that's happening to you every day at work, then that will cause hypertension, because that is one of the byproducts of fight and flight. Now, fight and flight is designed for real situations where your life is at risk, and unfortunately your brain hasn't learned to differentiate between a real threat and a perceived threat. So if somebody slights you or says something nasty, you'll have the same reaction as though a lion appears and you have to fight for your life. So your blood pressure will be consistently going up, you'll have more pressure on your heart, and this over time will manifest in hypertension, which can manifest into strokes and heart disease, heart attacks. And since heart attacks and strokes are the two biggest killers on the planet, then in 2008 they killed over 23% of the people who died that year. So these are very real threats, these are very common threats. And the same in your personal relationship. If you're in a relationship where the love has gone, and maybe you've bought a house together and you feel stuck, the love's gone, it's all critical, you stop loving yourself a little bit more, your blood pressure can rise. And this leads to weight issues as well, because your digestion doesn't work as well, and that causes stress on you, on your body and in your life. So these things are two of the biggest contributors of death, really, is continuous stress in jobs and relationships. So I would encourage you to do something to offset that stress, and the active energy system really is an excellent way of doing it. So I'd encourage you to find out more. If you are hypertensive, if you are overweight, then just listen to what I have to say about the active energy system, and it may just save your life. Be healthier, be happier, and have some fun along the way.